Hey everyone, this is Andrew for PokerSavvy Plus, back with you for part 2 of Playing God. This video picks up where part 1 left off. The basic deal, for those of you who are just jumping in, is that all these players at the table are PokerSavvy Plus members, and they played a session a week or so ago, and I'm now going through the hands from those sessions, and I can see all the hole cards, so I get to comment on some of the interesting situations which crop up. I just wanted to mention quickly. Had a thought before I started recording the session. Some of the information which I give to you in these videos is certainly open to interpretation, and I just wanted to make it clear that what I do in these videos is basically I give an action which I think is correct, but then what I'll always do is justify my reasoning behind that action. And sometimes that reasoning, you'll be able to sort of come up with something to the contrary. Let's just say, for example, that HDP and Penanti here are playing a hand, and HDP, they get to the river and HDP calls a bet that Penanti makes on the river, and I say to HDP, well, you probably shouldn't have called that because Penanti can never be bluffing. If HDP and Penanti have actually played quite a fair bit, and HDP has a read that Penanti does in fact like to bluff the river, then my advice is actually incorrect. But what I'm trying to say is that you should be thinking about, particularly when you're playing in your games, in your regular games, don't ever take anything that I say as being something you should do all the time. All the advice that I give you will be dependent on certain kind of logical conclusions which I've drawn, and I will always justify these to you, but I want you to realize that it's more important that you understand the process that I use to come up with these justifications than just to take the end result and just apply that blindly to your own games. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to, as best as I can, explain why I'm making the comments that I am making, and I'd like you to focus on that process of reasoning rather than taking just the end result and just doing it blindly, because as I'm sure you will know if you've seen any of my other video series, I certainly don't like that. I like you to be learning and thinking at all times. So just a brief recap of what's happened in the session so far. It's been a really great session. There's been some really interesting hands. Chris up here, Savvy Chris, has been rocked a couple of times. He had set over set and then sevens versus aces, so he's down probably the most. We had a great 3-bet hand where Ziggy and Gimme, I think, played, it was ace-king versus sevens. That one got a bit of discussion on the forums as well. We've got Looper here, who is playing pretty passively, but in this session, his passivity actually works for him, and he plays some great hands. I'm not sure if he plays them accidentally, in fact, or not, but we'll get to those as well.